Well, they definitely strengthen each other over time. So, just like I touched on a little bit earlier, those cognitive thinking skills, are also strengthened by engaging in academic skills, right? Those cognitive and academic skills are interacting. And so that also strengthens, or the academic skills also strengthen the cognitive skills. So that concept of mutualism that was brought up in the study is very true. And I think that in this study, they found that this was true in children who are typical learners and also children who are struggling learners. So, little by little, this web gets strengthened, and one piece of the web will help you know, other pieces be stronger, right?
So this is really the core of the study, and you can see it's literally in the first sentence. Mutualistic theories assume that the mastering of a skill, either cognitive or academic, supports and amplifies the development of such abilities. So yeah, like this is our core. There is no separate skills. And I think this really ties into like the whole child model of understanding education and just thinking that like, every piece is connected.
Right, of course. And I think that, there's something I would love to relate this to because this happened, with my child. And I see a lot of this happening with children and emerging skills. And sometimes what I notice is that children suddenly they'll make a big jump in a skill, right? Like reading or math, right? So for one child that I guided, once their memory and attention got stronger, their reading seemed to just take off almost overnight. So everything before that was, like being sorted, right? So this web of skills was being strengthened, but as soon as that was, coming to light, it's like he jumped right into being able to read, right? So it's like going into like a first grade reading skill, as soon as that web was
Mhm.
strengthened. But in order for him to do that, these different skills had to be strengthened, right? At just the right
Absolutely.
time. Yeah. So it really does explain why there are sudden jumps with children as well, right? Um,
Yeah. I think this ties into like to the discussion of pre-writing skills in
mhm,
early childhood. Like you don't just hand a kid a pencil one day and say copy down this letter. Like there are so many steps. Even like I was talking with my daughter's occupational therapist. My daughter's 9 months old, and we were talking about literally just her picking up food and bringing it to her mouth. That's a pre-writing skill. That's something
mhm,
that she's going to have to be able to do in order for her to eventually write her name. And I think that feels so distant from each other for so many parents that that's a
yes,
hard dot to connect. You think, well, she needs to feed herself because she needs to feed herself. No,
right.
she actually, you could spoon feed her until she's 5 years old. I don't want to, but I could. But then she's not going to have the grip strength and the coordination and
Right.
the hand-eye tracking and like all of these things that need to be built in order for the next step and 45 steps down.
Right. And I think that's a great example how the network of skills are supporting each other. Right. And when a lot of parents came to me in the different programs that I led and really were concerned about their 3 year olds or their 4 year old unable to write, or penmanship was, backwards or shaky or whatnot, and they were worried
Yeah.
about them going into school age, that's when that conversation would come up. So if a child is having a hard time with pencil grip and writing, then the muscles in their hand are just not strong enough, right? And so pushing them too early is going to affect their confidence, right? And they might show frustration, right? They might just completely dislike it. But there's so many ways to strengthen those fine motor muscles in ways that they would love, right? And so, yeah, some parents, you know, it, it's a foreign, idea for them because they think, "Okay, well, why are you telling me to have my child rip paper?" You know, or
Right.
right? Like, how is that gonna help her write? But it's that those foundational skills that really also give them the confidence and the readiness and
I think
pushing
too
it.